All right, so it's February 3rd, 2026, and this is the 7 year anniversary of my grandmom passing, my mom's mom, Teresa Newton. And at the time when it happened, I wasn't in a place to really process the loss. I was closed off and shut down emotionally. I had conditioned myself to not feel because that's what I needed to do in order to endure my situation. So after the military and the divorce and reconciliation and being a stay-at-home dad, being in the household, contributing to and dealing with a toxic environment, toxic family dynamic, I just really, in order for me to be okay, I couldn't feel anything, because if I felt anything, I was gonna feel anger, frustration, bitterness, resentment. So instead of that, I conditioned myself to just focus on what I needed to do and act like, my feelings didn't matter, and eventually, just push my feelings down to where they didn't impact me. Try to keep everything about logic, discipline, structure, all these things that I clung to provide some type of stability or sanity. And since my grandma passed, both of my grandfathers passed. My dad passed. My other grandma passed. Great uncle, a lot of people passed. But this morning, it just kind of hit me that recently, when people pass, I could at least process it. And it's still, I don't know, like, death doesn't necessarily bother me or impact me like it does a lot of people. But I guess that's because the older you get, the more you deal with it, the easier it is to deal with. But, there are still certain people that the relationship, the influence that they had, like, it's just hard to quantify. It's hard to really, process the value of their presence, and then, the absence of their presence. My grandma, Teresa, was the one that we spent the majority of our time with. Like, I'm blessed, I'm fortunate that I got that time with her, with my mom side of the family and my dad's side of the family, because I eventually moved with my grandparents. But like, as a young adult living in St. Louis, I was able to take advantage of the proximity to go spend time with my grandma, listen to my grandma talk about her life, tell me stories about when she was young. There were certain things that she shared with me, regrets, things that she was proud of. Like, my grandma was the first person in our family to do a lot of stuff, and she was really kind of the rock for everybody else to lean on. She was a leader, and like, losing her when lost her, one, it changed my life from losing my grandma, but that is one of the first times I could identify a redirection. It's not the first time that I had one, but it's like one of the first times that I could identify a clear redirection, because my plans were to move my family to Phoenix, but just because of how things played out. So February 3rd, 2019 was a Sunday. I know that. Obviously, I lost my grandma. But I also was planning on getting on the highway with my family to leave St. Louis and drive to Las Vegas. Now, not to move to Vegas, but to come to Las Vegas en route to Phoenix, because that was my plan, to move my family to Phoenix. But because my grandma passed, obviously, I didn't do that. She was in hospice before she passed, so we knew what was coming. So it was honestly the quickest funeral that I ever, been a part of or even aware of. Like, she passed on Sunday and the funeral was Thursday. So original plan was to leave Monday, take our time, drive across the country with our kids, me and my ex-wife, my kid's mom. That was the plan. But my grandma passed. We didn't have to be in Vegas on Wednesday. I just wanted to get here a couple days earlier so I could spend time with my family. We could do stuff, enjoy the city. I own a timeshare, so it was like, why not? Let's go out here and enjoy Vegas, do the conference, enjoy a few more days and go to Phoenix. But the way that it played out, having to cancel that reservation that I had and make other plans, we ended up canceling the reservation I had on my timeshare, booking a reservation with Westgate Resorts, just to have somewhere to stay, because instead of coming Wednesday, we ended up coming Friday. So I went to my grandma's funeral Thursday afternoon. As soon as my grandma was, buried, we got on the highway. I was still in the soup. I drove from around 2 or 3 p.m. to about 8 a.m. the next morning. And then my wife took over. We got to Vegas like just in time for me to go try to register and check in for the conference. Again, with me being where I was at, not being mindful of certain things. I know I pissed my wife off that day because we in Vegas and I'm like trying to rush and I'm, dragging the kids and she feeling like I'm being, dismissive or irresponsible, whatever. Because I'm trying to get where we trying to go and I felt like the kids is old enough. Like, come on. She felt like I was tripping. I remember that. I also remember when I found out, like, just one of those awkward moments because I didn't feel anything. Like, and because I didn't feel anything, I didn't know how to respond to my wife trying to comfort me. So because I wasn't really receptive or in need of that or like responding the way that, probably would be typical or what somebody would consider normal, then she started speculating about, I didn't need her or because I had somebody else, or like just nonsense because I didn't want nobody else. Anyway, so over the years, it's been more and more losses, but like I really realized today that I never even like processed that loss because where I was at the time, I didn't do it, and then so much stuff happened that this is like the first year that is like, okay, me actually feeling it, processing, thinking about the impact she had on me, thinking about the impact her death had on my life, the redirection. Because I mean, timeshare clearance wouldn't exist. Um, and I really am a different person than I was when she passed. So that was the catalyst for a lot of change, a lot of growth, a lot of perspective, so on and so forth. But like I said it when my other grandma passed, I didn't get cheated. I got my time with my grandma. You know, I just used to go take my grandma to dinner, and we would just talk and just enjoy each other's company. I love seeing my grandma. So my grandma had the whitest teeth and like the pinkest gums. I used to like really when I was a kid. I just like how is her gums just like my grandma smile was just off the chain, like beautiful, beautiful smile, and like just to see her happy, to see her laugh and enjoying herself, getting experiences that she might not have had before, and even just her seeing me as a man and how I operate and move. Like I remember hearing different stories about her, you know, bragging about when I took her out and how I handled myself. Cause like we went places, we had issues, we dealt with racism, bad service, so on and so forth. But any of those situations, like the way I handled it, she was just so proud, you know, of how I conducted myself. And like even those things I remember. But I'm not sad. It's like I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to spend as much time as I did with her. Again, we would alternate. Sometimes my aunt and uncle would come to stay with us for the summer. A lot of times we would go stay with my grandma for the summer. You know, and she worked a lot. She was a nurse, but you know, she made sure we went to church. She really did everything that she could to provide us with experiences, whether that was, you know, getting all us together and taking us to Six Flags, or, you know, just creating an environment for us to be kids and have something to do to entertain ourselves, without getting in trouble. Um, so it's I do miss her. Um, but aside from that, it's just looking at myself like, man, how much things have changed, because I really was like hollow at the time. Um, I was numb. And now that I'm not, and I remember kind of the shift, because that was also, it was months after my grandma passed, because I was selling timeshare for Westgate, and people would always ask me how I ended up in Vegas. So I would have to tell the story over and over and over. But like I would just tell the story when it first happened. I would just tell the story. And then like months and months after it happened, where I did kind of start being able to process emotions, I was emotionally overwhelmed. I remember I've been telling this story for months, but now when I'm trying to tell it, I'm breaking down, I'm crying. I'm at work crying. You know what I mean? I had a tradition of taking my kids to the movies, so a lot of times we was going to see kids' movies, you know, and I'm sitting in the movies getting emotional based off some cartoons or whatever, just because I had repressed my emotions for so long that when I started feeling them, it was like a dam breaking, and I just was overwhelmed emotionally. And a lot of other stuff happened that, you know, play a part in that and contributed to me being overwhelmed. But I think that's where I really started on the path of trying to get myself right mentally, emotionally, because prior to that I was either numb or angry, or frustrated or disappointed or something, because the people that I cared the most about didn't seem to care about me. The people that I sacrificed the most for didn't seem to even want to consider my well-being, my feelings, um, anything. So just like realizing it's been 7 years, and but that was the catalyst for me being where I'm at. And in the process, certain things happen. I remember like little family squabbles before she passed away, just about, getting her fried chicken or this or that. And it's like, to me, I'm on the side of get her whatever she want, because at that point she should be happy. You know what I mean? And if she wants some fried chicken or whatever, and my grandma used to drive me crazy because I would take her out to eat a lot. I remember this one time. I don't remember where we went. I just remember she wanted to try 2 different desserts, but she didn't want to order 2 different desserts. Like, so that's one of the times I think I frustrated my grandma, or we frustrate each other, because I'm like, just order whatever you want. She like, no, you order one and I'm gonna order the other one. I'm like, just order what you want, because that's how I felt. Like, at the rate she made, all the sacrifices she made, and invested all that she invested in all of the people that she invested in, it's like, you have what you want. Like, if it make you happy, do it. And you know, I don't want to ramble about everybody else, but that's a common thing that I've kind of noticed since then, that sometimes people take for granted or be overly concerned with certain things at a point where it really doesn't matter. It matter what I eat right now. I want to live a long time, but at the rate when I'm on my last days, man, don't be trying to tell me I can't have whatever I want, because I'm gonna want whatever I want, and I deserve to have whatever I want. I feel like that about everybody. So anyway, yeah, I remember being at my grandma's funeral. I remember being really sad for my mom, but like not really being able to process the loss. And it's been like that with everybody else. Like, every time I lose somebody, it's like it registered that they ain't here no more, but I don't really process it for some reason. I don't know. And when I say I don't process it, it's like as a negative thing, or this devastating emotional thing or whatever. It's just like, it's information. This person passed away. This person ain't here no more. We never have another kind of conversation. We never go out to eat again. We'll never do any of the things that we did, and how much of the stuff that we did has meaning. So yeah, my grandma meant a lot to me. Her influence meant a lot to me. I know I'm one of a lot of people that she really touched. And going forward, I'm gonna make sure that I do celebrate people's lives, even if they're not here, because like, it's never been something that I was capable of before, because I was a broken person myself. So now that I'm getting better and life is getting better, and I can be aware of more, process more, I do really appreciate the the opportunity, the relationships that I had to spend the time with the people that have been major influences in my life. And obviously, my grandma was one of them. So, with this being the anniversary of her passing away, I just wanted to process. You know, I love my grandma. I'm always gonna love my grandma. Uh, there were certain situations where I just felt like she didn't understand me, or misunderstood situations, and we never talked about it, because even if I felt that way, it was like she can have that, because it didn't matter. Like, that didn't take away from who she was. That didn't take away from how I felt about her. It didn't take away from anything. And she is missed. She is still loved, and she was an amazing grandma, an amazing woman, amazing person. Period. And she is truly and greatly missed. And I ain't trying to see you again for about 80 years. But if it's a heaven and you up there, I'm looking forward to seeing you again just 8 decades from now. So I love you, and I hope you can see me and be proud of me. And I miss you.